All right, Shalom. As always, man, I'm thankful and I'm grateful to be able to come out here once again to preach and to prophesy unto my people, being you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right? According to the Holy Bible, you are the biblical Israelites. This is based off of your father's paternal line. This is based off of agnet relations. Your race, your nationality goes back to your father's genetic line. And seeing our people have been dispersed all throughout the earth, we look like all nations under the sun. So if your spirit resonates with the spirit found in the Bible, as in you're hearing the mouth of the prophets, and you agree with what's being said to you, because we're giving you this truth in its fullness, then you are indeed an Israelite. All right? So, we also come out here to preach and to prophesy unto you other nations as well. We come out here to let you know your judgment, to let you know your downfall's coming, and that the kingdom is for the Israelites. It's not for y'all. And as always, I'm thankful and I'm grateful. So I got to give all thanks and praises unto our power. And what's his name? And you should know his name. All right? Yahweh. Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Bahashem Warakwadash. Peace, blessings, much respect to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, on down to the rest of the elders who rule well within Israel. Salutations to the hopeful elect throughout the four corners of this whole entire earth, no matter where, whom they may be, or what they may look like, pushing out this purified truth. To the rest of the church who believe as well, you men who may not be teachers or prophets, you women, sons and daughters also, and the water to Yahweh Shai, because without him going to that cross for the nation of Israel and the nation of Israel alone, none of this would even be possible whatsoever. This is the book of John, chapter 21 and verse 3. Simon Peter saith unto them, I go a fishing. They say unto him, we also go with thee. They went forth and entered into a ship immediately, and that night they caught nothing. So I had an experience back in the world. I went fishing with my older brother, and we went fishing for hours, man. I kid you not, it was hours. I believe we went fishing first thing in the morning, and by the time we left, the sun may have went back down. And we caught nothing. And I was so frustrated, I told myself I didn't want to go fishing again. That's how frustrated I was at that time. So ever since that time, I haven't touched, well, maybe I've touched a fishing rod, but I haven't went fishing ever since. It was a very frustrating moment. Now we can apply that coming into this ministry. We are indeed fishers of men. Now we come out here, we do our part, we do our effort, but it doesn't seem like fish are really biting like that. but that's okay. Okay, let's go forward. But when the morning was now come, Yahushua stood on the shore, but the disciples knew not that it was Yahushua. Then Yahushua saith unto them. Matter of fact, let's read that again. Let's go into this again. John chapter 21 and verse 3. But when the morning was now come, Yahushua stood on the shore. So here it is, Yahushua, he was there, man. But they weren't aware of it at that time. There's times we come out here and we teach, and it seems like we're just talking to ourselves. But Yahushua is always here with us, man. Okay? But the disciples knew not that it was Yahushua. Then Yahushua saith unto them, Children, have ye any meat? They answer him, No. So when they answer Yahushua, they didn't even consider that it was Yahushua. Okay? And he said unto them, Cast the net on the right side of the ship, and ye shall find. They cast therefore, and now they were not able to draw it for the multitude of fishes. So they went to go fishing. At the beginning of them fishing, they didn't catch any fish at all. But through the miracle of Yahushua, they ended up catching a multitude of fish. So much that it made the net heavy. Okay? Therefore, that disciple whom Yahushua loved saith unto Peter, and that Yahushua, or that disciple who Yahushua loved, is speaking of John. Now, I did a video a little bit back going into how, the Spirit has been kind of showing me that I could be John. And I'm sure a lot of men got bugged out behind that. But John, the disciple who Yahushua loved, another nickname for John is the disciple of love. Now, back in the world, I have a tattoo on my hand. Now, it's wicked as hell, but I have a heart tattoo. To add to some of the other stuff I was talking about, I have a heart tattoo, and a heart is a symbol of love. When Yahushua went to that cross, the only disciple that witnessed him was John. And he told John to take care of his mother Mary, basically saying, my mother's your mother, right? Guess what my godmother's name is? My godmother's name is Mary. All right? So, I often think of John a lot, a whole lot, Therefore, that disciple whom Yahushua loved saith unto Peter, It is the Lord. So it was John that acknowledged that it was Yahushua before the other disciples did. It is the Lord. Now, when Simon Peter heard that it was the Lord, he girt his fisher's coat unto him. He was naked. Now, he wasn't butt naked, but he was naked in the sense he probably had his shirt off, Probably hot, since you're getting wet, he probably had his top off. But his rod wasn't out, okay? It wasn't no homosexual activity going on, man. Period. All right? And did cast himself into the sea. And the other disciples came in a little ship, for they were not far from land, but as it were 200 cubits, dragging the net with fishes. As soon then as they were come to land, they saw a fire of coals there, fish laid thereon, and bread. Yahushua said unto them, Bring of the fish which ye have now caught. Simon Peter went up and drew the net to land full of great fishes. So remember, when they first started fishing, they went fishing for quite a while and they didn't catch anything. But when Yahushua had came, and he performed that miracle, they had caught fish. Now, what does this show? When we come out here and teach, we are indeed fishing for men. But the fish that we catch, it's not us. It's the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai that brings in the elect. Okay? Although we are the fishermen, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai are the ones who are bringing in the fish spiritually. Okay? And it might seem like right now, a lot of people may not be clinging to this ministry, but in the times to come, when we get to performing miracles and doing great things, many people are going to become believers just off of that alone. And a great multitude of people will come in bulk. Okay? And drew the net to land full of great fishes, 153. And for all there were so many, yet was not the net broken. So you got to think, the net normally probably would have broken, but because of the miracle of Yahweh Shai, not only was it an innumerable amount of fish, it was 153 fish, which was plenty of fish. The net also did not break. Okay? Also showing you our support is Yahweh Shai, man. The fruit that comes in, and if they stay, that's because Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai called and chose them from the beginning. Okay? So it may get frustrating. We come out here and it seems like we're not catching any fish. But through the Spirit, what I experienced back in the world, not catching any fish with my brother, I didn't realize that it would be a spiritual situation, that I would come into the truth, and it would be similar to how I live now. I fish and I fish and I fish, but no one's coming in. But that's all right, because I'm not alone. Just like when Yahweh Shai went to that cross alone, he wasn't alone. The Heavenly Father was there. And also the disciple whom he loved was also there with him. Me, myself, I come out here and I stand alone, but I'm not alone either. Okay? So prepare for the Lord to work many great miracles through us. Prepare for a lot of people who may not be considering what we're saying now, who may not ponder on what we're doing now. They might end up coming into the fold later on. Okay? Matthew chapter 4 and verse 19. And he said unto them, follow me, and I will make you fishers of men. So it's spiritual. We follow Yahweh Shai, and we actually come out here to fish for the elect of Israel. How do we fish? By coming out on the streets and teaching. When you look at these cars, how these cars drive by, they're like fish swimming by in the sea. Okay? Now, oftentimes we don't catch any fish. The fish just swim, they go about as they go. But guess what? It's up to Yahweh Shai, Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, the amount of fish that we end up catching, which ultimately we also have the internet highways, which is also known as the web, which is the net, to also catch in fish. So the fish that we may not catch out here on the street teaching, we get on the back end through the World Wide Web, so to speak. The net, the internet. Okay? So we're being fishers of men now. So it may seem like we're not catching any fish, but remember what the disciples went through. They fished for quite a while and caught nothing. We may come out here and do this for quite a while, and it may seem like no one's really listening. But don't let that discourage you, man. Let's read this again in Matthew 4:19. And he saith unto them, follow me, and I will make you fishers of men. And speaking on John again, back in the world, I also just remembered this too, not too long ago. I have a song that I made back in the world called Revelations. Okay? Let's go forward. John chapter 4 and verse 44. See, a lot of men are mad because the Lord is showing certain men signs and wonders, and a lot of men are on the sideline hating, man. Like, yeah, right. We're gonna find out at the end of the day, right? We're gonna find out. John 4:44. For Yahushua himself testified that a prophet hath no honor in his own country. So Yahushua himself testified that a prophet hath no honor in his own country. So here in my city, I'm sure a lot of these people don't really consider me a prophet. They might see me as bugged out, strange, out of place, wasting time, so to speak, which is all fine. But that's the true sign of a prophet, is the fact that people don't really consider you to be a prophet. That's actually a good sign, because Yahushua himself, which was the greatest man to ever walk on the earth, he signified it himself. Let's read this again in John 4:44. For Yahushua himself testified that a prophet hath no honor in his own country. So we're not held at any value right now. Our own family members look at us strange. These people who may not know us, they look at us strange, which is okay. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua is with us, man. Let's go to Luke chapter 6 and verse 22. Blessed are ye when men shall hate you, and when they shall separate you from their company, and shall reproach you and cast out your name as evil for the Son of Man's sake. Rejoice ye in that day, and leap for joy. For behold, your reward is great in heaven. For in like manner did their fathers unto the prophets. So just like the prophets before us, they didn't receive any honor. We're not receiving honor like that either, man. The fact that I get 1, 2, 7 views, 20 views, 50 views, somebody might see that and talk shit. Like, yeah, this dude ain't getting no hits. But what if I'm John, though? What if I'm John? Then what you gonna do? What if? Right? But see, a lot of you men, you despise your brother, man. You despise your brother instead of trying to uplift and uphold the body. You have men purposely trying to sabotage their brother. They want to see their brother fall off, man. All right? But that all goes back to what? Being hated, being separated, all for Yahushua's sake. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 15 and verse 33. The fear of the Lord is the instruction of wisdom, and before honor is humility. So we have to walk in meekness. We have to be humble. We have to deal with the shame and the rejection and all the people who hate on us, right? All for Yahushua, man. But if you ask me, it's totally worth it. And I'll lay down my life for Yahushua, man. Okay? And not only am I saying this now, I reflect on who I used to be, man. And like I've told you before, I did music back in the world. Even in my music, I've talked about being humble. Even in my music, I've talked about laying down my life. But I didn't call him Yahushua. Okay, I called him Yahshua. I called him Jesus. But I always had that zeal, and it was always in my music, man. Some of my music, I could literally listen to it on the Sabbath. I got like 20 songs that I made strictly spiritual, man. And I know for a fact the Lord has been with me all this time, man. It's beautiful, and I'm grateful. Because, see, I'm a normal, average guy from Kansas. Who would ever think that John would come from Kansas, right? Who would ever think that a man of the Lord could be risen up and come out of Kansas? No one wants to be in Kansas. This is one of the most hated states out of all of Babylon, man. But the first shall be last, and the last shall be first. The fear of the Lord is the instruction of wisdom, and before honor is humility. So before we can receive that honor, before we can receive that crown from Yahushua, we have to go through humility. This is what the honor is going to look like. 2nd Ezra chapter 2 in verse 40. Take thy number, O Zion, and shut up those of thine that are clothed in white, which have fulfilled the law of the Lord. The number of thy children whom thou longest for is fulfilled, being 144,000. Beseech the power of the Lord, that thy people which have been called from the beginning may be hallowed, which is speaking of the elect. The elect were called and chose from the very beginning. All right? Where was I at? I, Ezra, saw upon Mount Zion a great people whom I could not number, and they all praised the Lord with songs. Now here's the point, because this is when we are going to receive honor. And in the midst of them, there was a young man, speaking of Yahushai, of a high stature, taller than all the rest, and upon every one of their heads he set crowns, and was more exalted, which I marveled at greatly. So we're looking to receive that honor from Yahushai. So we got to go through that humility now, man. And I'm so thankful that Yahushai was always with me, man. Back in the world, even in my wickedness, in my darkness, right? On this arm, I got a tattoo of faith right here. I got what would Jesus do on my wrist. On this hand, it says good, but when I wear my ring, it says God. On my other hand, it says life, which is good life, but when I wear my ring, it says God life. So although I got tattoos which are wicked, the Lord has still shown that he's always been with me, man. The Lord has always shown me spiritual signs. The Lord is showing you, brothers, spiritual signs that he's always been with y'all, man. Pay attention and don't look at yourself so insignificantly and believe that the Lord is with you. You have to believe it, okay? Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 1 and verse 21. I also got a tattoo on my arm. I got 9 tattoos. It says, it's an acronym, it's GFM, and it stands for God first, family second, and music third, right? So I got spiritual tattoos, man. I don't got nothing on my body that says death, murder 187, an AK-47 with an 8-ball or a dice, which not taken away from brothers who do, man. I'm just saying, it's just crazy how the Lord has always been there, you know? And I'm just so thankful to have this opportunity, man. And seeing certain men get weak and fall out is just very strange, but it's the Lord's will. And I pray that it's not me. And you brothers who I deeply love and care for. For after that, in the wisdom of the power, the world by wisdom knew not the power. It pleased the power by the foolishness of preaching to save them that believe. So before honor is humility. Coming out here, it's foolishness. People see what we do as absurd, right? This is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. This dude must be smoking crack pipes, right? This dude must be smoking meth or doing something. Like, why is he out here, you know, wearing what looks to be a dress, talking to himself? This is the foolishness of preaching. This is that humility that we must go through before the honor, along with the hatred that we deal with everybody in this world, man. I love Yahushua. I'm totally immersed in the spirit to where I don't feel no shame. I'm not ashamed of this work. And for the men who are, shame on you. Okay? Speaking on that, let's go to Luke. We do this for the Lord, man. Luke chapter 9 and verse 26. For whosoever shall be ashamed of me and my words, of him shall the Son of Man be ashamed, when he shall come in his own glory and his Father's and the holy angels. So if you're ashamed of Yahushai, Yahushai gonna be ashamed of you. How do you show that you're ashamed of Yahushai? You put your hand to the plow when you look back. You heard this ministry, you didn't want to make a move. You wanted to scoff, you wanted to mock, you wanted to make a joke of this. That's pretty much putting Yahushai to shame. For whosoever shall be ashamed of me and of my words, which is the majority of our people, of him shall the Son of Man be ashamed when he shall come in his own glory and in his Father and the holy angels. So when Yahushua comes and receives his glory, he's going to reject all you Israelites who have rejected him through your actions, man, through your words. And every idle word that you've ever spoken, you are going to be held accountable for that. Okay? So you can't be out here being ashamed of this gospel. We have to bear the shame. We have to bear our cross just like Yahushua did. And the scriptures also tell us that the servant's not greater than his Lord. All right? Luke chapter 14 and verse 27. And whosoever doth not bear his cross and come after me cannot be my disciple. So you got to bear the cross, man. You got to go through afflictions and temptations. One of my temptations that I've been going through lately, a lot of women have been digging me, but they all got husbands, which means what? They are off limits completely. Why is it that the women who got husbands got to be the ones digging me? That's temptation. But coming into this ministry, you got to bear that cross. See, these men in the world, you think they're concerned if whether or not a woman has a man? For them, it's free game, right? For us, we have conditions. We have guidelines. We have morals and boundaries that we cannot cross. That comes with bearing your cross, bearing the burdens, man. Coming out here doing the work. When it's cold, when it's hot, when you don't feel like it, okay? When you're charged up, regardless, the work must be done, okay? And whosoever doth not bear his cross and come not after me cannot be my disciple. So you got to bear your cross, man. Turning your back on the Lord, that's not bearing your cross. Being scared to come out here, that's not bearing your cross. Let's touch on Revelations 2 and 2. Because with bearing our cross, there's an innumerable amount of burdens that brothers may go through. You may cry sometimes. You may go through it. But if you endure, if you hold on, you'll get stronger naturally. Revelations 2 and 2. This is Yahushua speaking. I know thy works and thy labor and thy patience, and how thou canst not bear them which are evil, and thou hast tried them which say they are apostles and are not, and hast found them liars. Okay? So guess what? The Lord knows our works. The Lord knows our patience. The Lord knows that we shed tears. The Lord knows that we go through afflictions in our body, man. The Lord knows we have to deal with false apostles and men who claim to be prophets. And we're fed up with these guys, man. They get under our skin. Yahushua knows that. Okay? But when Yahushua returns, he's going to make everything right. Just being in this ministry, it comes with a lot of heaviness. It comes with a lot of grief. But as you get better, as you grow, the grief doesn't get easier, but you get stronger, so it's not as hard to bear it. Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 18. For in much wisdom, okay, so to be in this wisdom, to be in this truth, it does take skill. It does take craft, okay? For in much wisdom is much grief. And he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow. So with this knowledge, that's how we're able to interpret, to understand, to discern the scriptures. It's the wisdom that allows us to do it skillfully, that allows us to go from one precept to another, okay? But seeing that we're doing this, it is grievous because we're fighting against demons. But if you do this work, if you're immersed in the spirit, you'll be all right, man. Because you're going to get strengthened and you'll be more encouraged because the Lord is going to put that fire in you to keep doing his will. But all the guys who are lukewarm, they're going to be spewed out. But seeing how wisdom brings grief, let's read it again. We got to bear that. For much wisdom is much grief, and he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow. So as we increase in knowledge, we increase in sorrows. We'll go through different pains in our minds, in our bodies. Rejection, being hated. You know, people making up lies about you, right? A whole bunch of nonsense. But we have to bear it because the reward is going to be so worth it. Jeremiah 10:19. Woe is me for my hurt. My wound is grievous. But I said, truly, this is a grief and I must bear it. So whatever the grief may be, however the grief may come, we must have the spirit to bear it, man. We must have the integrity to understand that we deserve what we're going through. And we need the spirit, the testicular fortitude to bear it, man. Because to be in this faith, it takes a masculine spirit. To have faith, that is a masculine spirit. The only masculine spirit a woman needs is faith. Outside of that, a woman needs to be a woman. But to have faith, that is a masculine trait. And that is the only masculine trait a woman should take on is belief. Okay? That's part of being a strong woman. Woe is me for my hurt. My wound is grievous. But I said, truly, this is a grief and I must bear it. Okay? So we go through a lot. We go through being made fun of, being the butt of the joke, people separating themselves from us. And it ain't because we're ugly. It ain't because we stink. It ain't because we're bullies. It ain't because we're terrorists. It's because of the spirit of Yahweh Shai, and we're fulfilling prophecy. And if you're hated, if you really feel like you're hated, you have to be one of those guys, man. Because I can assure you in my day-to-day life, I feel hated. And I'm not losing my mind. I truly feel people separating themselves from me just as I separate from them. While at the same time, people wanting to be around me, right? It's hard to explain. But let's touch on how we cry sometimes, man. Being in this ministry, you may have moments where you tear up. You get frustrated. You got to cry. You got to let it out. That don't make you less of a man. Crying does not make you less of a man. Sirach chapter 1:23. A patient man will tear for a time, and afterward joy shall spring up unto him. So there's times we may actually cry. We may actually shed tears. You may actually have a Bible with dry tears on the inside of it. And now your pages are written up, right? But guess what? Eventually, our sorrows, our sadness, our grief, our miseries are going to be changed into joy. And it's already happening now. The fact that we're in this truth, you already get a sense of joy. I know I do. I get a sense of joy doing this, man. And I'm grateful that the Lord is increasing me and allowing me to get stronger, because I'm being motivated by my brethren. Because on my own, you know, I be needing motivation, man. I get in my little mood sometimes where I feel like I don't want to say insignificant, but I feel like the Lord can do a lot better than me, you know? But I'm grateful to still be able to do this. A patient man will tear for a time, and afterward joy shall spring up unto him. So right now we may go through our tears and our sorrows, but guess what? At the end of the day, our tears are going to be wiped away. We're looking forward to that. Let's go back to the book of Revelations, chapter 21 and verse 4. And the power shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow, nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. So when the former things are passed away, joy is going to spring up unto us. But right now we go through our sorrows, we go through the things we go through for a moment. Okay, but it is not going to be like this forever, man. Okay? And the power shall wipe away all tears. So keep this in mind. Whatever you're going through, whatever sadness is in your heart, maybe you lost someone you cared about. Okay, maybe you reminisce on maybe a sibling or an uncle or a father or a mother that went back to the spirit world and you missed their presence, right? You might have days where you just feel like you're having a tough week. Nothing's working out for you. You know, you just feel like everybody's coming against you, right? You feel like there's no breaks. You feel like your tears won't stop falling. Well, the day's gonna come, we're not gonna be crying from sorrows, we're gonna be crying from joy, okay? And the power, I hope I ain't got no toothpaste on my mouth. I lick my lips, I taste some toothpaste. And the power shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow, nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. Doesn't that sound great? Doesn't that sound amazing? Why wouldn't you want that? That's why for all you Israelites who don't repent, who don't consider, I don't care about you. I really don't. You don't matter in my life. Let's go to the book of Sirach, also known as the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 26 and verse 4. Whether a man be rich or poor, if he have a good heart toward the Lord, he shall at all times rejoice with a cheerful countenance. So even if we have to cry, we have moments where we're mourning, we're in a low state, we're still going to bounce back because we have joy, we have hope in us, man. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai is in us to keep us going, all right? So whether we have millions of dollars, whether we're going paycheck to paycheck, whether we're unemployed, we ain't got no money coming in at all, if we focus on Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, we make him our fear, we make him our everything, we'll be able to be joyful at all times. Because then you understand he controls everything. He got your back, so what's the problem? All right? First Peter's chapter 1, verse 8. Whom having not seen, ye love, in whom though now ye see him not, yet believing, ye rejoice with joy unspeakable, full of glory. So, when you have a good heart toward the Lord, even though we don't see him, you're still able to rejoice. You're still able to have hope. You're still able to be encouraged, man. Okay, and that's a beautiful thing. A lot of people may speak ill against us, but we're not vindictive. We're not seeking revenge carnally right now. Now, we might put up curses against you. We might hope for the Lord to jack you up, but we come out here and we do this work, man. But a lot of men, they're not patient. They want to do things on their time. They don't want to go through the shame and the suffering now, okay? Because they're not the men of the Lord. Whom having not seen, ye love, in whom though now ye see him not, yet believing, ye rejoice with joy unspeakable, full of glory. So we know this is true. We understand that this is true, and that's why we come out here and do what we do, because we are convinced. 1 Corinthians chapter 14, 1 Corinthians chapter 14 and 22. Wherefore tongues are for a sign, not to them that believe, but to them that believe not. But prophesying serveth for them that believe not, but prophesying serveth not for them that believe not, but for them which believe. So we out here for those who believe, man. And those of us who believe, we have hope. We are encouraged. We have everything to look forward to. We are on the winning side. The worst that happens is what? You catch affliction, so what? You win the battle. All you have to do is endure and hold on, And if you're called and chosen from the beginning, that's exactly what you're going to do. Because the Lord who is in you, okay, the Lord who is fighting for you, he is going to make you a conqueror just like himself is. And Yahweh Shai, he is our hero. All right? Let's go to the book of Sirach, also known as the book of Ecclesiasticus. Chapter 3 and verse 24. For many are deceived by their own vain opinion, and an evil suspicion hath overthrown their judgment. So there are men who feel like, you know what, this is a waste of time going back into the world. Okay? You've been deceived by your own opinion. You have people who feel like, you know, they don't gotta be a brother. They feel like because they're good at breakdowns, right, they could just be an asshole to their brother. They feel like they already made it. They know that they're the elect. Because even with signs of the Lord showing me I could be John, I still say, Lord willing, I'm of the elect, man. Okay? Because my hope is that I get delivered. Now, just as I hope and believe I'm of the elect, I hope and believe I'm John, man. Because too many things are pointing to that in my life, man. And I'm not forcing any of it. All of it is organic. Okay? And that I ain't gonna lie, man, that makes me feel good. And I'm not trying to be deceived by my own vain opinion. You know, I've thought about it, I prayed on it, I've accumulated information, and it all still leads back. I believe I'm John. But somebody else may hear that and be like, nah, I don't think you're John. Oh, you're bugged out, you got demons on you. Hey, you might be the one being deceived by your vain opinion. Right? You may feel like me and my brethren, we're not men of the Lord because you're deceived by your own vain opinion. You might feel like Yahweh Shai isn't about to come very soon. Okay? You had multiple ships that were under attack at the Red Sea. You know, Ukraine launched attack drones at Crimea. And I believe Russia had took down 16 of those drones, right? But yet you have men, they're not really in the spirit of belief. No matter how much is being shown that we're at the end, many men's minds are deceiving them. For many are deceived by their own vain opinion. So if it's not backed by the scriptures, if it's not backed by any spiritual sign, it's irrelevant, man. Okay? For many are deceived by their own vain opinion, and an evil suspicion hath overthrown their judgment. And if you have an overthrown judgment, that means you don't have this knowledge. Because to have this knowledge, that means you have discernment. Okay? Here it is, the U.S. is running out of money for Ukraine. Ukraine is desperate for that money. With all these signs leading to World War III, Donald Trump himself said a little bit ago, there's no way in hell we're not going into World War III. He didn't say it in these words, but he said we're going into World War III. Okay, for lack of better words. Let's go forward to Jeremiah. A lot of men have fell out this truth because they got hard on themselves. Many men have fell out this truth because they lost hope. Many men have fell out this truth because they felt like they made it already. Jeremiah 17 and 9. Jeremiah 17 and verse 9. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? So the mind is a very wicked place. We have to constantly make sure that we're on point. We have to constantly make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to do on the side of the Lord, man. Okay? Even North Korea had mentioned that World War III is going to happen. In fact, North Korea said World War III is inevitable. Basically, it's unavoidable. But you still have men questioning whether or not we're at the end, whether or not they should be doing this, because they're not men of the Lord at the end of the day. You know? The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it, man? So a lot of men have been deceived by their own vain opinions. A lot of men feel like this ain't the truth. This is a waste of time. They got other things that they can do. Overthrown by their own judgment. Romans chapter 14 and verse 5. One man esteemeth one day above another. Another esteemeth every day alike. Let every man be fully persuaded in his own mind. Okay? So look, regardless of what anybody says or thinks or feels about you, being in this ministry, your mentality has to be carefree. Okay? Your mentality has to be, it's whatever. I already made up my mind that whether I have to go through even the most rigorous of moments, if that's what I got to do so I could be with Yahweh Shai and hopefully, be with him, like for real with him, I'm willing to go through the challenge, man. But in order for us to endure that, we need him. We can't do it alone. So we have to be what? Persuaded. We have to be convinced in our own mind that this is the truth. Okay? Going into that word persuaded in Greek, make sure I'm good on time. Greek 41 and 35. The word is plerothe or eo, to bear or bring full, to make full, to cause a thing to be shown to the full, to fulfill the ministry in every part, to carry through to the end, accomplish things that have been accomplished, to fill one with thought, conviction, or inclination, to make one certain, to persuade, convince one. So yeah, we have to be convicted in the spirit that this is the truth. We have to be convinced. We have to be in the faith of believing this so much that there's not nothing that can separate us. Nothing, not even death. Okay? Jeremiah chapter 20 and verse 7. O Lord, thou hast deceived me, and I was deceived. Thou art stronger than I, and I hast prevailed. I am in derision daily. Everyone mocketh me. So Jeremiah was a laughingstock. People were making a joke out of Jeremiah. Well, guess what? We're going through the same thing Jeremiah went through. Ain't that cool, man? Ain't that great that we're going through the same thing that we already went through? We're just coming back in the flesh. I totally believe I'm one of those men coming back through faith. I say that through faith and belief and hope. That's why I do this, man. Not because I'm unsure, not because I'm kind of feeling like that. No, I truly believe I'm a man of the Lord. Not because I'm special in a sense of how great I am, but because the Lord was so humble to even give a guy like me opportunity. And I feel it in my spirit that he's with me. That's why I say that. O Lord, thou hast deceived me, and I was deceived. Thou art stronger than I, and hast prevailed. I am in derision daily. Everyone mocketh me. For since I spake, I cried out. I cried violence and spoil, because the word of the Lord was made a reproach unto me, and a derision daily. For since I spake, I cried out, I cried violence and spoil, and because the word of the Lord was made a reproach unto me, and a derision daily. So because we're in this ministry, people make us a joke, just like Jeremiah. Okay? And if you notice, it said that he was in derision, he was made a laughingstock daily, which shows Jeremiah was super in the spirit. Because obviously he was going out to teach every day. Okay? Or if not, at least he was teaching on the streets. I would perceive every day, but if not every day, quite often. He wasn't taking breaks. All right? Then I said I will not make mention of him. So Jeremiah got so frustrated in his spirit, he didn't even want to teach no more. Okay? Then I said I will not make mention of him, nor speak anymore in his name. Jeremiah was like, man, you set me up. Ever since I've started teaching and telling these people about what's to come, telling our people to repent, now everybody's making me a joke. Everybody's coming against me. I don't know if I could do this. But the Spirit didn't allow Jeremiah to throw in the towel. Why? Because Jeremiah was meant to be a prophet. That was his lot. That was his destiny. You can't fall out if it's your destiny to be a prophet, even if you wanted to. An example being right now, as in Jeremiah, and another good example would be Jonah. Then I said I will not make mention of him, nor speak anymore in his name. And a lot of men will get to feeling like this and actually fall through. Throw in the towel, and you won't see them no more. And that's because why? They weren't men of the Lord. But this shows a man of the Lord may feel every now and again like he's fed up. He don't know how much more he can take. But what's really important is doing the work anyway. Any man can say he's not going to, but what's more important? Say you're going to and you're not, or to say you're not going to but you are anyway. But his word was in mine heart as a burning fire, shut up in my bones, and I was weary with forbearing, and I could not stay. So the word was in Jeremiah. Even though he wanted to just stop teaching, stop going out and bringing out the words of the Lord, because he got tired of being mocked and made fun of, he was doing it anyway because the Spirit of the Lord was in him as a fireman. And that's how we are. Even before I came out here, I was tired, man. Or more so, I was sleepy. But the Spirit came on me to come out here and do this work anyway. I feel fine, to be honest, at the moment. Okay? Because it's in us to do this. Amos chapter 3 and verse 8. The lion hath roared, who will not fear? The Lord power hath spoken, who can but prophesy? So yeah, the Lord has spoken. And the prophets are going to prophesy the words that the Lord has spoken, because that's their job. All they can do is prophesy, seeing that that's their lot. That's why we're doing this, man. How many people are driving by and stopping? How many people do you see on a day-to-day doing this, man? Not many, but you know who are? The prophets. And you have other people who are doing this, who act like they're the men of the Lord. We'll find out later. But you have false prophets and you have the true prophets. But either way it goes, the men of the Lord, long story short, they're going to teach the words of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai regardless, because that's all we're going to do. That's all we can do. Because the word is in us like a fire, man. We can't close our mouth. As much as you people irritate us and get under our skin, we're not about to cease. We're not about to shun the gospel. Not a man of the Lord. The lion hath roared, who will not fear? The Lord power hath spoken, who can but prophesy? Okay? Let's go to Acts. Because you have a lot of men, you know, their mind is in a scruple. And what I mean by a scruple, they're constantly in hesitation. They might say, oh, tomorrow I'm going to do what I need to do, or next week I'm going to do what I need to do. Or a guy might be out here teaching, but then you don't see him all week. He don't do no videos throughout the week. Then a week goes on 2 weeks. Then he says, well, I know it's going on 2 weeks, but I'll do it next week. Then it's 3 weeks, right? A lot of our people are in a scruple. They're constantly hesitating, man. They're bullshitters, okay? When it comes to action. Acts 20 and 27. For I have not shunned to declare unto you all the counsel of the power. So what are the men of the Lord going to do, regardless of whether or not people listen to us, regardless if we're catching fish or not? What are we going to do? We're going to speak the words of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, and we're not going to shun any information. We're not going to omit any matter, especially when it comes to things that are weighty. Okay? Faith, judgment, and mercy. Let's get that. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you pay tithe of mint and anise and cumin, and have omitted the weightier matters of the law, judgment, mercy, and faith. These ought ye to have done, and not to leave the other undone. But a lot of men omit judgment, mercy, and faith. A lot of men don't want to speak about the judgment of the Lord. A lot of men don't want to speak on mercy, which is for the elect. A lot of men don't want to speak on faith because they don't believe. Okay? And these are very weighty matters that a lot of men omit and shun away. But that's heavy doctrine, man. So let's go back to Acts 20 and 27. For I have not shunned to declare unto you all the counsel of the power. So we're not drawing back our sword from blood. We're not hesitating. Our mind is in old bullshit mode. Okay? For I have not shunned to declare unto you all the counsel of the power, but since a lot of men have an avarice mentality, they have a greed and a desire to want to get rich, they'll omit matters of the scriptures that require, or not require, weightier matters of the scriptures that have to do with your salvation. Things that could actually get you put to death because you're twisting it up, man. A lot of men are liars. A lot of men are not really about this. A lot of men are not trying to suffer the shame. A lot of men are not trying to stand up for righteousness. A lot of men are in this with the wrong mentality. And there's been a lot of spiritual numbers on the back of these cars. I haven't been saying nothing though, but there's been a lot of spiritual numbers out here. All right? But the job of a true man of the Lord, he gonna come out here and do this work regardless, man. Regardless of who's listening or who's not listening. We're gonna hold our faith. We're gonna stand strong for Yahweh Shai, Lord willing, and hope that the Holy Spirit never gets taken off of us, man. You know, we're closer and closer to the end every day. And I hope and pray that this lesson, it was simple and it was edifying. You know, to you brothers out there, stay strong. You know, stay hopeful. Stay encouraged. Know that the Lord is with you. Don't let phony and false brethren get you down. You know, focus on the prize. Focus on the goal at hand. Seeing that we're closer and closer to that day. Salvation draws nigh. We're another day closer to our eternity, our peace. To see our Lord and Savior face to face once again, man. All right, so I'm going ahead and wrap it up there and give all thanks and praises unto our power, the power of Israel, and you should already know what his name is. All right, Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Wabrakak Wadash. Lord willing, that was simple and edifying. I'm out. Shalom.